Hey, this is Anthony Pacheco at Griffon Games. Another stretch goal down. And that's the cover art stretch goal. Basically, at this point, Christoph and I have everything we need to make the best dang book possible. There's nothing else that we can buy or pay for that will actually make this book any better. So that's why the next two stretch goals don't have anything to do with the actual Curse of the Lost Memory book. It has to do with other books. And wow, this is just really exciting for us. And if you've already backed, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You guys will just really enjoy this adventure path quite a bit. And if you haven't backed, the clock is ticking. Once the Kickstarter closes, only backers have the capability of changing their order to upgrade from one tier to the next. And if you're not in our system, you won't be able to order the product until we're just done. And all the orders from the Kickstarter has been fulfilled. At that point, what will happen is, as once everybody has gotten their package, not that I've mailed the package, but everybody's gotten their package, I'll flip the switches to our distributor. We have Ingram as our distributor, and we use Lightning Spark as our printing press. Once we do that, then a couple of things happen. The book is available internationally. There's Ingram has a print office in Australia, United States, of course, which serves Canada, also Europe. And I think it's actually might be two places in Europe, one in Germany and one in the UK. But regardless, everything is going to be available at that point as far as any of the books that we produce. What will not be available, and what we're going to be talking about during this video, is the maps. The maps are Kickstarter exclusive. If you want the maps, you have to pledge. You can make any pledge. You can make $1 pledge and then upgrade your pledge later to actually get the map, to the map tier. And these are printed maps. And we just won't be. We don't have the capability. We don't have a storefront to actually go in and just sell these maps on their own. And so this is my final plug for, hey, if you want maps, now's the time to do it. Here, I'm going to go and talk about what our maps are actually going to look like. So here we go. Okay, here what we're looking at are the Anna Meyer 24 by 36 inches sample maps that she has on greyhawksmaps.net, gmaps.net. And she was kind enough to let us use these as an examples, and so I sent them off to the printer. And what you're viewing here are what came back. First, excuse my crappy cell phone video. I'm actually used to using a video camera. This is one of the first times I've actually used the video capabilities of my smartphone, and I was kind of surprised at just how abysmal not the actual video quality, but the audio quality is. And so I've stripped out the audio, and I'm re-recording the audio. But anyway, as you can see here, we've printed these maps on vinyl, and boy howdy, did this map look great. The map underneath is a glossy or thick vinyl, and the map on top is a high resolution printout on matte vinyl, and it's a little bit thinner, but not much. And these are really great. I'm just flabbergasted on how good vinyl printing has gotten. You can't really tell that top mat is actually on vinyl. It looks like a thick piece of paper, but it's not. It's actually, durable, waterproof vinyl. That's just kind of amazing. On the bottom mat, since the vinyl is a little thicker, you can actually see some of the vinyl quality coming out, and that's just the nature of just having it being a little bit thicker and more porous than the high resolution version. And so this is what we're going to go with. As you can see here, as I'm going to flip one of the mats over eventually, you'll notice that it's not a piece of paper that's crinkly. It's not a photo paper. It's not a poly paper. It's actually a high resolution image. The top one is at 300 dpi and the bottom one is at 200 dpi, although you can't tell. But it's vinyl, and so that's what you're getting. We're not too sure if which version that we're going to go with. It kind of depends on, one costs more than the other. It kind of depends on exactly how much we get for the Kickstarter and how many people pledge for this particular tier. You can actually write on these with wet erase, and as long as you don't leave it overnight, it just wipes right off with a damp paper towel or a damp rag. If you do leave it on overnight, it will come off, but you have to scrub it so hard that you'll take some of the ink off. And it's not very noticeable. It's just that these maps are used for display purposes. Although you can write on them, you just won't be able to treat it like a Chessex battle mat where you can write all day long with wet erase, leave it on there for weeks, and then use like a simple green or diluted simple green or some type of soapy cleaning mixture to just bring the battle mat back up to new standard. These have high resolutions on them. Once again, 100 300 dpi, 100 200 dpi. Although personally I can't tell, and I'm kind of a printing snob, and it just looks great. The colors are vibrant. It's durable. They have properties that you just can't get with a piece of paper. In other words, you can roll them up and in a shipping tube, and as long as it's not really tight, when you unroll them and lay them flat on the table, what you're going to get is a vinyl map that quickly, within minutes, goes flat. There's none of this curl where you have to leave heavy objects at each corner to actually make the map usable. It just lays flat. And so there we go. And again, if you're a backer, you can actually go in and change or upgrade your tier at any time. You can send us mail. We can only use PayPal, however, we can't accept things like Stripe. You can pay the difference in PayPal, and at any time, we'll just send you the maps. And this is just something that we really enjoy doing. We're thinking about how to do these in the second Kickstarter. We think that if we actually offered a $200 tier and just went crazy with the maps, it's like 8 or 9 of them, 10 of these high resolution 26 by 36, that's 2 feet by 3 feet maps, that we would have just as many people doing that tier as the $100 tier. And and just to be completely transparent, the maps that you're getting is the actual cost is going to take up the entire $100. So essentially, it's not that you're getting the books with in a free book and some maps. You're basically getting really high quality maps along with a couple of along with some books on the side, because we're gonna spend some serious money on these maps. With that in mind, what you see here is a scale that we won't be using. We'll actually be using a smaller scale. So the Barony map is going to be our biggest map, the Whalemore Barony, or X Barony as the case may be, and it's going to be 12 square miles, 12 miles by 12 miles, which is a little bit bigger than a normal typical Barony, which is 10 by 10. But as you can see here, I'm zooming out with my crappy cell phone, anti-shake technology going on. You can just see how big these maps are, and as I zoom in, you can still see that they're holding a lot of resolution, and you can still see these tiny prints, which is incredible for a vinyl mat. And so there you go, folks. Those are the maps, and we hope you really enjoy them. So if you like what you see, pledge for them now. It'll just really help us gauge the interest on how much people like these maps. Thanks. The maps, guys, the maps.